don't really know. It's like, this shit like, how can I explain it? I like, like hooping. That shit wasn't really going nowhere. I wasn't gonna get nowhere with that shit. School ain't gonna do shit. You know what I'm saying? There's only one way. It's this. You know what I'm saying?
There's no way out once you're in. In the streets, hesitation means death, and loyalty comes at a price. Bloodhound Q50 learned that the hard way. When his right-hand man, Lil Jeff, was gunned down, there was no debate, no second thoughts, just war. And when Q50 slid back for Jeff, the internet went into a frenzy. The footage shook the city, turning a local beef into a full-scale war. But what really happened that night? How did Q50's name become legend overnight? And how did one chain set off a war that left bodies dropping on both sides? Chicago has seen its fair share of deadly beefs, but nothing hit harder than the footage of Bloodhound Q50 sliding for Lil Jeff. In just over a year, the war between Bloodhound and Trap City has left more than a dozen bodies in the streets. But when Lil Jeff was taken out, the Bloodhounds made a chilling promise. They were going to get back. And Q50, he wasn't about to let it slide.
Right from home. I know right from home. That's what I do right. You know what I'm saying?
The viral footage captured Q50 and his crew masked up, spinning through enemy territory, spraying shots and making sure the city knew this war was far from over. But what really happened that night? And how did Q50 go from a young hustler to a street legend overnight? This is the story of revenge, betrayal, and a war with no winners. For nearly a decade, Bloodhound and Trap City were relatively at peace. But everything changed when Lil Jeff made one fatal mistake. One day, Lil Jeff asked to borrow Trap City Carter's chain, an $80,000 custom piece. But after a few days, Jeff ghosted Carter, refusing to return it. When Trap City finally reached him, Jeff claimed that he lost the chain in a high-speed chase but still had the pendant. To make the story believable, he even scratched himself up to look like he had been in an accident. Trap City wasn't buying it. They felt backdoored, and the war officially began.
You know you got somebody that you call your homie, you probably just met, and you think he your homie, nigga do some little snake shit type shit, and backstab him. That's what brought all this shit apart. Snake somebody for some type of materialistic some shit that anybody can get snake them for materialistic things, and there's blood behind that shit. The motherfuckers in Africa, they die getting them diamonds, so it's still blood on them regardless.
The first casualty was none other than Lil Jeff himself, along with Q50's older cousin, Bloodhound Z Money. After that, it was all-out warfare, with both sides dropping bodies back and forth. What started as a dispute over a chain spiraled into one of the deadliest wars Chicago had seen. Every retaliation sparked another. Every loss fueled a new mission for revenge. The bloodshed became a never-ending cycle, and Q50 found himself deep in a world where survival meant striking first. Q50 wasn't just another street figure. He was respected. Born and raised on the South Side, he grew up around violence. But it wasn't until his teenage years that he fully embraced the lifestyle. He had always looked up to Bloodhound Z Money, who was considered a top figure in their set. When Z Money was killed, Q50 took it personally. It wasn't just about Lil Jeff. It was about making sure that Bloodhounds remained dominant in the city. Q50 had always been a natural leader. He wasn't loud, but he commanded respect. His name held weight in the streets, and after Lil Jeff was taken out, all eyes were on him to see what he would do next. He had two choices: step up or fall back, and stepping back was never an option. Trap City didn't just sit back after taking out Lil Jeff. They were taunting Bloodhounds on social media, going on Instagram Live and posting photos at spots where Bloodhounds had been killed.
We are real deep right now, man.
Get him right there, brother. Hey, this is what he did on the couch.
Because I know when we watched your No Jump interview, you did admit that, you have been depressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a lot on your mind since last June.
Yeah, that's like the...
Yeah. How you able to cope with it?
I don't think...
The disrespect was at an all-time high, and Q50 was under pressure to retaliate. Bloodhounds had to be strategic. They knew that any move they made was being watched, not just by the ops, but by the police. Surveillance in their neighborhood had increased since the war started, and they had to be careful about how they moved. On the night they decided to slide for Lil Jeff, they planned everything out in advance. Q50 and 3 other Bloodhound members pulled up to Trap City territory in a stolen black SUV. They had one mission: to send a message that Bloodhounds weren't to be messed with. The moment they spotted Trap City Carter outside, they made their move. Gunfire erupted in the middle of the night. Trap City Carter didn't even have time to react. Within seconds, he was on the ground, and the bloodhounds sped off before anyone could catch them. It didn't take long for the news to spread. Social media was flooded with posts about the Q50 wasn't one to brag, but the bloodhounds made sure everyone knew who was responsible. They weren't hiding it. This wasn't just revenge, it was a declaration of war. With Trap City Carter gone, his crew was out for blood. They weren't just going to let it slide. The retaliation came fast. Within a week, another bloodhound member was taken out. The cycle continued, and it seemed like there was no end in sight. Q50 knew that he had a target on his back. The more bodies that dropped, the more people wanted him gone, but he wasn't going to slow down. He had already made his choice, and there was no turning back. The funeral for Trap City Carter was supposed to be a time for mourning, but the bloodhounds saw it as an opportunity. They had received intel that all of Trap City's top members would be there. It was risky, but in their eyes, it was worth it. They pulled up to the funeral just as people were leaving. Carter's sister, a 34-year-old mother of 3, was one of the first to walk outside. As soon as she got into her car, gunfire erupted. The shots sent people scattering in all directions. The bloodhounds didn't stick around to see the aftermath. They were already gone before the police could arrive. Carter's sister was pronounced dead on arrival. The city was in shock. Even in a place like Chicago, where street wars were common, this was different. Women and children were usually off limits. But in this war, there were no rules. From his interviews, Q50 never saw another way. When asked about depression, he admitted,
I don't try to think about it too much. I don't try to think about that shit for you.
Yeah. So tell us what's been going on, man. What you got, how you come?
That shit wasn't really going nowhere. I wasn't gonna get nowhere with that shit. School ain't gonna do shit. You know what I'm saying? There's only one way. It's this. You know what I'm saying? That shit.
When asked if he had other options, he said,
Yeah, so I chose this.
So you feel like you didn't have too many options?
Hell nah.
Okay.
Hell nah. Ever since I was like, trying to drop a tape.
What's the name of the tape?
Long live my brother, he killed your brother.
Long live my brother, he killed your brother?
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of it?
Yeah.
Man, I think that's one of the craziest names.
Q50 didn't see this as a choice. He saw it as the only way. Even in his upcoming tape, Long Live My Brother, He Killed Your Brother, his message was clear. This war wasn't over.
For a tape, right?
Yeah.
So the labels didn't allow it to be Long Live My Brother, he probably killed your bitch ass brother. They said that was too long.
Nah, they wanted it to be that, but I made it that. I think it's Long Live My Brother, he probably killed your brother.
You know you got somebody that you call your homie, you probably just met, and you think he your homie, nigga do some little snake shit type shit, and backstab him. That's what brought all this shit apart.
With Trap City down bad and bloodhounds up, everyone was waiting for the next move. Would Trap City strike back? Would Q50 continue to rise? Or was he just one bullet away from being next? The footage of Q50 sliding for Lil Jeff had already cemented him as a Chicago drill legend. But as history shows, legends don't live long in these streets. This isn't just another drill story. It's a war that refuses to end. Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more.